This week on Wardens.
We're well above our targets, but in the long run, we'll see how it's actually going to work out.
Michigan's Fisheries Division works to improve the habitat for spawning fish.
Maybe just to go for a day trip right now and look at all the fish jump in the dam. That's pretty awesome.
An officer in District 4 gives a family pointers on where to fish.
These are all your personal fish?
My personal fish.
Okay. Your overlimit.
And other officers in District 4 investigate a large group of fishermen taking salmon from a closed stream. All this week on Wardens. Wild animals and wild places. They're more than a picture. They're inspiration, excitement, and adventure. Patrolling and protecting these natural resources is a first-class band of peace officers. These are the Wardens, dedicated to the preservation of our great outdoors. The state of Michigan sells more than 1 million fishing licenses each year, and the fishing industry in the state brings over $7 billion each year to local communities and manufacturers. The entire state offers fishing opportunities for people of all ages and from all walks of life. It's a resource that the DNR strives to protect for everyone to enjoy. In Michigan's District 4, this conservation officer is on patrol during a busy fishing weekend in early October. He's watching some people who are fishing a stream that closed to fishing on September 30th.
State Conservation Officer, why don't you come on up here for a minute? Bring everybody else up with you too. How many fish did you guys wind up with?
We don't have any.
Didn't get any?
No.
How long you been down here?
Maybe a half hour.
Okay. The issue here is this stream is closed to fishing.
Okay.
It closed at the end of September.
All right.
So we're about a week into the closure.
Right.
Okay. Hence the reason there's that many fish, no other people.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep. Makes
Okay.
perfect sense.
How did you guys find this body of water?
Okay, so I'm looking for property up north.
Okay.
And I was using Zillow.
Yep.
And I
There's
seen
one right here for sale.
for sale, and it talked about the salmon run.
Okay.
It's part of the advertisement for the property. So I was like, huh. So I looked into it a little bit more, and I was like, followed the creek off of
Manistee River.
off the Manistee. I'm like, right, well, right here's a dissecting road to the river.
Okay.
So we'll check it out.
Okay. So are you not overly familiar with trout regulations in Michigan?
No, not really.
Okay. I kind of assume that, okay? Because I mean, you're not down there with your, the standard stuff. We're going to see guys coming in here intentionally going into the closed water trying to harvest fish. I see you got the kids down here. I could tell just looking at the whole situation that you didn't have a clue. What that it was closed, right? And
Dirty cooler.
all right, very good. So I'm not gonna write you a ticket here, okay? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna encourage you to do a little bit more research and get more familiar with the regulations.
Okay.
And try to use your head a little bit more. You pull into a spot like this and there's this many salmon like that and all these tracks or whatever, but there's nobody here, especially on a weekend. When this is open, there's this dumb down here.
Okay.
One place that's kind of similar to this as far as size and being a fair number of fish, there are a fair number of people, but you can do a little bit of walking and spread out a little bit. We'll be up on Bear Creek.
Okay.
At Spirit of the Woods. Just gonna give you a warning, my man.
All right.
Look into things.
Okay.
All right, get squared away on things.
Thanks.
All right, you bet. Good to see you guys out fishing. Hope you're having a good time. Yeah. Dad taking you on a little adventure.
Yeah.
Now you got a story to tell. Dad could have got a ticket, but he didn't.
Yeah, I don't know how Mom's gonna react to it.
Well, probably better than if he'd actually got a ticket. So.
Right.
All right, you guys take care.
While in his patrol vehicle, Officer receives a call to assist another CO.
We got a tip on a group of guys that are running a house on a piece of closed stream that's full of salmon right now. We got the tip late last night.
Okay. So, but you should be up on the 55 here.
We got in on it last night. Weren't able to catch any of the guys in the water with the fish. We saw fish leaving in a cooler. The activity shut down after dark, so we just pulled out, decided to get back out, try and take a look at it today and get on it. My partner's been sitting on it for a couple hours now. He's got a bunch of violations. Sounds like a group of 7, 8 guys somewhere in there. He's already seen a couple coolers of fish leave. They're straight up netting fish, snagging them out of the creek. How you doing, gentlemen?
All right, how you doing?
Good. My partner's going to have some words with you.
All right, guys. State conservation officer. I know that the other guys just left with the fish, so why don't we quicken this up a little bit and show me where the rods and nets are at, all right?
There's one rod right down here by the river. I know that right now. I can see it.
Okay. You guys know where the rest of them are at? You've been sitting here. I've been here for several hours, so I already know what's going on. So, do you guys all speak English?
Yeah, we speak English, but we just came from the fishing.
No, you didn't. I've been here for hours. No one's been fishing other than in this creek right here.
Sometimes you just need to contain the behaviors just by letting them see you. So word of mouth will get downstream that we're here, and things will kind of shape up. It means less tickets, but it's not about tickets. It's about one person, me or my partner. There's more than one of me, trust me. But today, me containing all of these people, so I don't have to babysit them all day. We can go do duck hunting, deer hunting, and again, the other river system that has just as many fish in it. So sometimes you gotta be seen. And the rain doesn't stop anybody.
In Michigan's District 4, Conservation Officer Becky Hubers is patrolling salmon anglers on a rainy Saturday morning in early October.
I just want to take a look at your single hook, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
And then this one needs another. Oh, okay, that's not you. Okay. All right. Watch that back rip, you know what I'm talking about when you're casting over the fish. I know you're setting the hook most of the time, but make sure you're not doing any rip.
After checking some fishermen, Officer Hubers returns to her patrol truck and heads to the Betsy River to take a look at the fishing activity there. Upon exiting her truck, she runs into a young fisherman on a bridge.
Who you got with you today? Is there someone else down here?
Yeah,
Okay.
and my aunt, my uncle, my dad, my grandma.
Everybody's down here?
Yeah.
Okay, we need to talk then. Is everybody right here?
Well, I think my dad's down there on that side.
Okay.
People in here, and I think my grandma's in the car.
Okay.
I think they're down
Yeah, I hear him. So they're visiting?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's my wife's sisters.
Okay, fantastic. Everybody's got their stuff out from there?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna have you all come up to the car because this river is closed and you can't be here right now.
It is?
Yeah, and so I'm gonna explain it all to you. Honest to goodness, if I thought that they knew they were doing wrong, they would have hightailed it or hidden a lot better instead of just standing out there and having a good time. All right, so here's the deal. There are sections of trout streams that are open and closed. Most of our trout streams, all of our trout streams are open from the last Saturday in April to September 30th, okay? We're past September 30th, so portions of the Betsy River are now closed. It is closed at Keurig Road, which is down there by Crystal Mountain Potty Store.
Okay.
So the guy who's from here should be familiar with that.
Yeah,
Keurig
'cause I
Road
see
is the
them
line.
down there fishing all the time. I'm like, well, nobody's down here today. They must be out because it's raining.
Keurig Road is the line, so everything downstream, so Keurig, Sitka, County Line Road, and everything towards the Homestead Dam is open.
Oh, it is?
Yep. Everything above Keurig Road, so which includes all of Thompsonville here all the way to Grass Lake, is closed September 30th.
Okay.
Okay. Most of the little tributary streams are always going to be closed, and so we posted everything that's open, and the assumption is if you go on the internet, you can see where everything is closed. And there's so many closed that we couldn't possibly put it in a big book. So the Betsy River is a type 4 stream from Keurig Road downstream to M22. That means everything above Keurig Road is something else besides open all year. Today, if you're all going to go fishing, I recommend maybe the tubes at County Line Road or Sitka Road or Homestead Dam. Maybe just to go for a day trip right now and look at all the fish jump in the dam. That's pretty awesome.
Big fish
Yes, there are some big fishies down by the Homestead Dam. Like I said, it's a 34-pounder. That's bigger than you.
The Fisheries Division of the Michigan DNR used 750 tons of rock over an area of 200 square meters to restore a reef in the Grand Traverse Bay in Lake Michigan. Approximately 2 days of putting the rock into the water was the culmination of a 2-year project.
Fish such as lake trout, whitefish, and cisco utilize it for spawning. The reason we know that it's not functioning very well is because right adjacent to it is another part of the reef that wasn't degraded and is still natural. So we had a lot of data going into this reef restoration project, comparing this control site and how fish use it for spawning to the degraded site, and the fact that eggs laid on the degraded site didn't survive at all.
A commonly asked question is, what exactly is a Great Lakes reef?
The vision is that it's some kind of coral reef. In truth, in the Great Lakes, it's typically a pile of limestone substrates.
The reef was inadvertently degraded by an iron ore dock that was put into place more than a century ago. Many of the species of fish in the Great Lakes were overfished decades ago, and some species to the point of almost being eliminated from the individual Great Lakes. With the long-term recoveries of some fish species uncertain, these reefs are a critical piece of the puzzle in ensuring that both commercial and recreational fisheries can remain stable.
The initial responses of those were all very favorable. Matter of fact, we're well above our targets. In the long run, we'll see how it's actually going to work out. So it's really interesting work to get underwater, put your hands on the reef, and take the measurements and see how things are functioning. And again, we're hoping this will inform other restoration activities.
Most fish species utilizing this reef spawn in the fall, and then the eggs incubate all winter long. So the reef needs to be able to withstand wave energy, ice cover, and currents, which can all have powerful effects in Lake Michigan.
If the rock is supposed to protect the eggs over the whole course of a harsh winter in the Great Lakes, how does the fish know that the rock is deep and not just one layer thick? A fish can't dig into the rocks to determine whether or not this is the right spot. So what they look for is they look for the slope of the substrate. So a Great Lakes reef looks like a pile of limestone, softball to baseball size rock that's piled up but often associated with a very steep slope. And that's what the fish use as a surrogate to recognize that the spawning habitat is adequate.
Within 48 hours of completing the reef restoration, the Fisheries Division of the DNR observed smallmouth bass using the reef and saw lake trout doing so within a month. However, long-term positive results are the primary goal.
The Grand Traverse project was a success from the standpoint that we learned a lot about fish habitat interactions in the Great Lakes on reefs that we didn't know before. From the onset, that's a fantastic thing. The second thing is we are seeing responses in the fish that we were hoping for. So I would say it is, from that measure, a success. But really the one that is most impactful to me is the fact that we're starting to apply this to other areas.
The state of Michigan prohibits fishing for various species at certain times of the year. These seasonal closures generally coincide with spawning periods and are indicated by lake or stream in the state's Fishing Digest. In Michigan's District 4, this conservation officer is assisting CO Scott McNeil in a case where Officer McNeil has observed several fishermen taking salmon out of a closed stream. Some of the fishermen are claiming they caught fish legally on an open body of water and simply returned to the cabin where they're staying for the weekend.
One fish,
clear,
clean, and I have 2 bags of fillet. There's 5 fish or 6 in these 2 bags.
6 total between the 2?
Yes, and this is my 7th fish.
These are all your fish?
That's all my fish, and that's since yesterday.
These are all your personal fish?
My personal fish.
Okay. You're over limit.
So what's the limit for fish?
So you're allowed to have 5 fish, okay, per day. However, you're allowed 2 additional limits on top of your 5 per day. Okay, so in total you're allowed to have 15 in possession, but you're only allowed to have 5 that aren't processed in some manner. So those not being processed, being canned, smoked, frozen, cured in some manner, makes you over limit.
Well, this is what I understand. It's
they're not processed, period.
Okay.
Which makes, especially in this situation, this whole mess.
But I've been here like from Thursday. I thought like it's like 2-day license. I spent here like 3 days and two nights, which I got licensed to fish for 2 days.
I understand that, but you're right now in this situation. You told me those are all your fish. They're not processed.
Since this fisherman is over the legal limit, this officer removes the cooler from his truck and then needs to elaborate further on what the problem is.
They're not processed. They're not canned, smoked, frozen, or cured in any manner. Okay?
How do I can it? I just came here for a weekend.
There's fish that are frozen. You had time to freeze them.
But I do have ice on it.
They're not frozen. I can show you in the law, it's very specific in there about the fact that they have to be processed.
Okay.
Okay? And what that does is it prevents guys from taking double limits in a day. My partner was conducting surveillance on this for several hours, has numerous subjects, netting fish, snagging them out of the creek, got illegal gear. We have one guy that admits he has 7 fish. All 7 fish are in the cooler. They're not processed, canned, smoked in any manner. They're filleted and on ice, which is not considered processed. It's situations like this with everything going on that we will enforce the law to the T and as far as how it reads.
Conservation Officer Scott McNeil observed 6 salmon being taken out of a stream that's closed. The fishermen who caught them are spending the weekend at a cabin along the closed stream, with other fishermen who say that they caught the fish in other bodies of water that are not closed.
The integrity of how they got their fish puts the a compromise on the integrity of the fish that you caught. Yeah. You know, if I sit here for an hour today and I see 6 fish pulled out of a river, and now you have, I don't know, round number, how many fish do you think you have here? You know, 20?
Honestly.
20, 25 fish that are floating around here?
I just picking up like an hour ago.
Yeah, but hear me out. Hear me out.
Yeah.
If there's 20, 25 fish, and I was here for an hour, and I saw the only 6 fish I saw were pulled out of an illegal, illegally out of a stream that's closed, it kind of makes one think, well, are they all illegal? Yeah. Because what I've seen is, 100% of the fish I've seen caught have been illegal. Kind of brings down everyone, right? Take this into consideration, okay? Yeah. Everyone that's touched the fish that came out of these streams, I'm talking from the guy that took a picture with it just because he doesn't fish and he wants a picture of him holding a fish, to the guy carrying the cooler, okay, to the guy that goes to the store just to help out getting them clean. Every single one of those guys now took possession of an illegal fish. Every one of those guys is looking at a citation.
As dusk descends upon them, the officers are still investigating what's happened and interviewing their suspects.
I'll talk to my partner here, and he may very well just say, okay, well, let's lay out all the flays, snap picture. That shows the over limit. You keep that, but that's in his hands. This is his case. Okay. Let me ask you this on that over limit. Do you want to take the rest of those fish, or do you want to allow him just to lay out the rest of the flays, snap a picture of them? As far as the additional fish that were in his possession, let him keep those, and you walk away with the ones.
Doesn't matter to me.
All right, we'll do a little bargaining chip. I'll take my phone up there, let him lay the flays out. We'll photograph and let him keep those, and we're out with the rest. So I talked to my partner. He said if you want to lay out the flays and show that you're keeping those fish, and those will compound with the photo that we have of all the fish together, okay? He'll allow you to keep those 5 fish.
So you just want to put the fillets there?
Yep, and if you want to lay them down on something so they're not getting all covered with the grass and dirt, I'm cool with that.
I'll wash them anyways. I gotta wash them.
Okay. You saw me handling all the fish. Put her there. We're good.
Thank you so much.
You bet.
You are the 5 that have been cited for what I've seen today. Okay, guys? Now, we're just going to run down the list here, but I'm going to explain to you what happens. All of you have been cited for misdemeanor violations. Had one guy snag fish, another one using a net to catch the fish out of the stream.
Okay.
Ended up with 129 pounds of fish illegally taken.
For the 5 subjects in this case, there were 3 charges of possessing an illegally taken fish, 2 charges of fishing closed waters, 1 charge for each of possessing more than the legal limit of fish and snagging fish, and a warning for fishing with illegal fishing gear. All 5 fishermen pled guilty to the charges issued. The court-ordered fines in this case for all 5 men totaled $2,800. Of that amount, $1,395 was restitution to the state of Michigan for the illegal fish.
This is such small water, kind of in the city of Wellston down here, village of Wellston, you might say. And these types of things a lot of times go on in people's backyards. We don't have any clue about it because we're spending so much time on, Big River, Tippy Dam, Bear Creek, some of those other places that this stuff goes on year after year. These guys have been coming here 10 years and staying at the same place. Guarantee it's been going on.
This is just a small portion of one stream.
Right, so without somebody saying, hey, you might want to check this out, we wouldn't have had a clue, and who knows how long it'll go on.
This week on Wardens.
We are state law enforcement. We are rural police. We are game wardens first, though.
Students learn hunter safety in an adults-only class.
I didn't really want to take a class with a bunch of younger kids.
And an officer in D8 helps some uninvited guests out of an elementary school.
Probably about the best place that they could have ended up. They're in tight quarters.
Wild animals and wild places. They're more than a picture. They're inspiration, excitement, and adventure. Patrolling and protecting these natural resources is a first-class band of peace officers. These are the Wardens, dedicated to the preservation of our great outdoors.
Head Road and Head Lake Road. I'm going to be out with an accident here. Slide off, vehicles on its side. I believe I have the occupants out here standing in the roadway.
Clear 7113, 816 is en route to that. Did you say that it's on its side?
A-frame off the road, on its side. Going to need a pretty heavy-duty tow truck here to get it out. Is everybody okay?
I am fine.
You have some bumps and bruises, stuff like that?
I just got some scrapes.
Okay. Do you need EMS or anything like that?
I don't think so.
How is everyone's neck, head, back feeling, stuff like that? Good?
I'm fine.
You're okay?
In Michigan's District 7, Conservation Officer Richard Cardenas has come across a car in the ditch while on patrol on a cold and snowy November morning. It's deer season now, but this wreck is certainly a higher priority for CO Cardenas than checking hunters.
Here you go, ma'am.
He offers his coat to the vehicle's driver, who only has a few minor scrapes to show from her slide down the hill and off the road.
So coming down that hill,
yep,
my car just would not stop.
Okay, it's getting slick.
I tried to pump the brakes, and basically all I could think to do was try to turn onto this road, which slid me all the way out.
Yep.
Her son reports that he doesn't have any injuries. After a deputy from the Berry County Sheriff's Department arrives and begins his investigation of the accident, the car's occupants get a chance to warm up in the deputy's vehicle. With nothing else for him to do here, Officer Cardenas returns to his patrol truck and carefully navigates the icy roads. He started his day monitoring hunters at the Berry State Game Area and encountered one man taking a break in his pickup truck.
How's it going? Good. Conservation officer. Just getting warmed up?
Yeah.
Just getting back in?
Cold.
You waiting for someone?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. Check a license here real quick. Hunting license. Any luck this morning?
Seen a few. Seen a couple bucks. I took a shot at one.
Do you have your driver's license on you? Okay, so you're suspended? You are? No handguns, anything like that on you? Lighter?
Yep,
This hunter has driven to the game area while his driver's license is suspended. CO Cardenas pats him down and removes a knife from his pocket.
That's your pocket knife right there.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. One rolled out.
Okay. 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 All right, I'm just gonna grab your gun here real quick, okay?
He also removes the firearm that he spotted in the bed of the pickup and searches the rest of the truck. doesn't find any more weapons or anything illegal.
Okay, so nobody else is here to help you out right now?
No, I can probably get somebody out here if I need to.
Okay, you're definitely gonna need to get somebody out here.
Okay.
Okay.
I just plugged my phone in because it was dead.
Okay.
Oops, sorry about that.
Nope, you're fine. You know, when it comes to a firearm, okay, they're supposed, when they're in, it's in, the law is in or upon a motor vehicle. They're supposed to be encased.
Oh,
okay. So truck bed, I know what you're doing right now. You're warming up to go out and look for a deer.
That's why,
okay.
That's why I threw it right in the back.
Okay.
Hoping you don't, so
okay. You're in a vehicle running with keys in it. You have an identification card. Okay. So we kind of got to go from there. All right. And then see what we can do. Okay. All right, man. I just got my portion of the job to do here. I'll be right with you. Okay.
The opening day of archery deer hunting season brings a lot of pre-dawn precipitation to Michigan's District 8. Conservation Officer Troy Ludwig is one of 3 COs heading to a hunting property where they found bait in a county where baiting is illegal. They're hoping to find the people responsible for the bait and issue citations.
Typically in heavy rain, you're not going to see a whole lot of hunters out. It's starting to lighten up, so I'm going to guess the guys will be getting out right about now, starting to head out. I would consider it a suburban area. It's just outside of the city of Lansing. It's going to be Delta Township. Delta Township's probably one of the more heavily populated areas in Eaton County. It's kind of like an overflow from Lansing into Eaton County, part of the Tri-County area being Eaton, Ingham, and Clinton. It's interesting how many bow hunters you see in an urban setting. An urban being this is a smaller chunk of woods, but it's definitely a populated area.
I had gotten a complaint through DNR Dispatch that there had been some ORV activity in the city and going back into this property. And it's a large wooded area. About a week and a half ago, I walked back in there and I found a large mowed area throughout the whole place. And I found about 7 or 8 tree stands and 3 or 4 bait piles.
There's a tree stand that'll be to your left.
Oh, the tree stand's actually left?
Just like you come down the trail, down the hill, and it starts going to the left a little bit.
Yeah.
And there's bushes and stuff, so you won't see it. But then you'll kind of look to your left, and it'll be right up there in an open.
It's not a far walk then. Well, nobody hunting this morning. We can see there's evidence of a mineral block. Appears it's been here for quite a few weeks. It's either been hit, all these trails keep coming in to the actual mineral lick location, but it hasn't been replenished any time recently, so we'll have to continue checking this area, see if they come back and add anything to it.
The COs do find some remnants of bait and a hunting blind, but they don't find the culprits they were looking for on this rainy morning.
Conservation officer. Anybody home? Stay off property. It's private. Stay out of the ground blind. It's my grandson's. I found you, and you will be prosecuted. Basically, we encountered a ground blind. Looks like probably, judging by the note, that someone was hunting during the youth hunt. Either the corn that is placed on the ground as bait, it's either been picked up because they got wise to us, or it's been eaten by all the deer and other critters.
Eventually, things work out, and we'll find lots of stuff going on. So the baiting right now is a big thing. They know they're not supposed to bait here. There's a reason why. And so it's a big enforcement effort, and a lot of people are giving tips. So that's one of the big things at this time. And we'll keep working on it, and eventually we'll catch some people doing it illegally.
As he's leaving the spot that had the illegal bait but no hunters, Officer Thorne gets called to head to something that sounds entirely different.
We're on our way to Central Elementary School in Okemos. We were just finishing up a different complaint and got a call from our dispatch that there's a couple deer stuck in a bathroom at the elementary school. So we're heading over there now to see what's going on. I guess there's a couple Meridian Township units that are in the area, and they're not sure how to get these deer out of the bathroom, and I'm not sure what we're going to do, but we'll figure out a way to get these deer out so the kids can use the facilities. So they ran right through a window?
We'll go in and...
Oh, man.
Less people are hunting in the United States. One report by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service indicated that from 2011 to 2016, 2 million people nationally stopped hunting. Fewer hunters means there's less money to dedicate to natural resource protection, preservation, and improvement. The National Wild Turkey Federation and other wildlife organizations are trying to get new hunters into the field and have the opportunity to enjoy the outdoors. One demographic that may be underserved is adult hunters who haven't had the chance to hunt previously. The Michigan DNR occasionally offers adult-only hunter safety classes to serve this segment of future hunters.
I didn't really want to take, a class with a bunch of younger kids, and this one showed up, so I thought it'd be great, to get with people my age, learning, and it was a perfect time.
I didn't want to be in a type setting where I would stand out as the adult of the group, so it's cool being able to get involved with a group of individuals that are interested in hunting and pursuing the safety precautions that aren't 10 years old and around that age range.
There's more injuries with badminton every year than there is hunting. That's a true fact.
Some of these people may have already been out hunting with a mentor or something, but now they can legally go out and buy their own license, and they don't have to be pretty much with a mentor, although I'm sure they want to for a little while. Because hunting is just one of those things that you just, it doesn't come overnight. You have to be experienced.
One consideration in offering hunter safety classes to adults is that they are often more likely to continue to pursue the endeavor than many minors. Frequently, this is for reasons that may seem obvious, like having a driver's license and income to pay for hunting licenses and equipment.
A lot of the kids and the youth and everything, they're into it because mom and dad are into it, or, dad wants to make sure that I could go hunting with them or whatever. So after going out a couple of times and they decide that they're not interested, they're more interested in maybe doing something else, then they kind of drop out. They may go back to it as they get older, but for the most part, the retention is just not there.
The simple fact is, if a kid takes hunter safety, but he doesn't have parents that are going to take him hunting, he's not going to go hunting. So whatever it takes to get people in the woods, that's what we want to do.
Like most hunter safety classes, in addition to safety, these sessions aim to teach students about game laws, hunting techniques, equipment, and other information.
I consider myself fortunate. The amount of people that have worn this uniform or been conservation officers is pretty limited, less than 3,000. I want to say, so it's a pretty cool opportunity. The instructor brought it up that if I actually had the law books here, they'd be substantially more information than what you are here. This is just a summary of the law.
The ones that are honest will say they enjoyed the class and it was a good time and they learned a lot. There's two reasons hunting is probably the most safe sport out there now, is because of hunter education and this stuff right here, Hunter's Orange.
Conservation Officer Todd Thorne has been called to an elementary school where 2 deer are in the boys' bathroom. They jumped through a window of the school in the middle of the night and the school janitor discovered them when he arrived to start his day.
We heard that there was deer stuck in a bathroom, so I envisioned maybe it was an outside stall or something that deer had walked into and the door shut on them. But when we got there, there was a hole right in the window of the school building by the office. Yeah, because I don't have a tranquilizer, so yeah, let's.
Yeah, we got everything we need.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, because we don't want them.
You wanted to do.
No, that sounds good to me. We don't want to mess with these deer when there's kids around. It was a fawn and mom, and apparently they'd been running around through the halls trying to get out when the janitors arrived this morning. The janitors scared them down a hallway, and they ended up in a bathroom because the door was open, and the janitors shut the door and just kind of left them in there.
Ingham County Animal Control is also on the scene and has administered a tranquilizer to calm the doe and fawn so they can be removed.
There's one. He tranquilized the deer. One of the deer went to sleep pretty well. The mother was pretty easy to remove. I just drug her out. The fawn was pretty strong and was fighting, so we ended up having to use 2 catch poles on it, and I had to, hold its head down so it didn't kick anybody, and I wouldn't want to be doing that with my bare hands. Okay. Now, go ahead. Yeah. It worked out pretty well. There was a little bit of blood, but looked like the deer weren't too badly injured, and none of the kids got hurt or anyone else, so that was good.
When C.O. Thorne returns to patrolling deer hunters, he spots a truck that he has a picture of from earlier in the week. The truck was on state land where motorized vehicles aren't permitted. He proceeds to initiate a traffic stop of the truck.
What's up, guys? Hi. All right, so first of all, where's the marijuana? Okay, where is it? All of it. You can smell it all the way down the road. I had gotten an email yesterday or the day before that there'd been a white pickup truck driving through the state game area on non-designated lands, and they were parked out there. I got a good picture of a license plate, and so today while we were driving around in the game area, that vehicle actually passed us on the road, and so we turned around and conducted a traffic stop. All right, ID?
We ain't doing nothing right. I ain't got my license with me, but I got my ID number.
Okay, I'll take that. Thank you.
My stuff.
And your registration and proof of insurance.
We're just going to dry our stuff.
Okay, you got nothing in here.
Yeah,
Where?
threw it out. You can smell it was in there. It was stinking.
So were you smoking it?
No, it was just in my truck from earlier.
Somebody was smoking it because I could smell it. They had a little marijuana on them, but the one guy had a medical marijuana card. You guys got talked to last year about this.
About what? I didn't drive out there
About
last year.
driving up right up here on state land.
Me? I never talked to you
Well,
about that.
one of you guys.
So
you
I
know,
never got,
You're getting a warning for the marijuana, okay? So you're getting a ticket for operating on state land. These guys have a permit to be here.
I understand, but dude, I was in like a 2-track like there.
I know, you're not supposed to be there, right? I got a picture of it, okay?
What kind of money is this take?
It's just a civil infraction, okay? I don't make up the fines. I don't know how much it's gonna be. There are individuals that I run into every year, and there's usually some issues. Last year they got a break warning for driving on state land, just like they did this year. So this year they didn't get the warning. There was enforcement action taken, and I'm sure I'll run into them again at some point.
It's November in Michigan's District 7, and Conservation Officer Richard Cardenas has encountered a hunter whose driver's license is suspended. The subject had a firearm in the bed of his truck that wasn't cased and was warming up in his truck after his morning hunt. While checking the hunter's criminal history, CO Cardenas learns that he has 2 warrants out for his arrest. One in the county where Officer Cardenas met him, and the other from an adjacent county. Allegan County would like the subject brought in on the warrant that's out for him. So a Michigan State Trooper arrives on the scene to transport this hunter to the Allegan County Jail.
I'll give him until probably tonight. Okay, and if it's not out of here by tonight, let's say 9 o'clock, okay, then I'll have to have it towed, okay?
Yep.
Fair enough.
That sounds real fair.
So the keys to unlock this is in here, or on your keychain?
Yes, one key.
Okay.
One key does it all. Can I like that quick too?
Yeah.
You can get that.
No, their policy is pretty similar to ours. It's got to be behind the back. Yep, yep. $44?
$44 sound right?
Yeah, I
Okay.
someone to see too.
And I'll put this in your center council, I think. Once a court issues a warrant for someone's arrest and you have contact with law enforcement, and we find out that you have a warrant for your arrest, it's a court order at that point in time. So we have to do our part of the job. We have to check and see if the courts are lodging, if they'll accept on the warrants. Both that subject's warrants were valid, and because of that is why he, ultimately was going to jail one way or the other today. All set for me? Thanks for transporting. The only difference between the troops and I is my focus on day-to-day basis is conservation law, but we're trained to know and handle all criminal law situations as well, and that's part of the job. We are state law enforcement. We are rural police. We are game wardens first, though.
This week on Wardens.
It's very important we remove nets like this. They continue to do damage.
Officers from Michigan's Department of Natural Resources Law Enforcement Division, Great Lakes Enforcement Unit, set out to remove an abandoned net from a shipwreck in Lake Michigan.
Snowmobile trails and ORV trails are 2 separate things.
COs in District 7 patrol off-road vehicle riders in early summer, and an inside look at how the Forest Resources Division battles wildfires. Wild animals and wild places. They're more than a picture. They're inspiration, excitement, and adventure. Patrolling and protecting these natural resources is a first-class band of peace officers. These are the Wardens, dedicated to the preservation of our great outdoors. Protecting the state's natural resources is job one for Michigan's conservation officers. That endeavor encompasses a wide multitude of things in the outdoors. For hunters and anglers in the state, they usually see COs when they target deer, bear, and elk, or salmon, trout, and bass. But 2 other important resources that need to be protected are the state's forests and waters. Conservation officers play a vital role in both of these areas and receive help from many other organizations. Protecting the waters in and around the state falls on many different diverse organizations. The people from the Law Enforcement Division, who help protect the state's Great Lakes, are a part of the division's District 25.
District 25, also called our Wildlife Resource Protection Section. Within that section are 2 enforcement units. One is our Special Investigations Unit, the other one is our Great Lakes Enforcement Unit. And the Great Lakes Enforcement Unit is what we're involved with. That's our unit, and pretty much it's enforcement on the Great Lakes.
Recreational divers that were checking out a shipwreck in Lake Michigan discovered a gill net stuck on the sunken vessel in the geographic area of Michigan's District 2. So Lieutenant Short and some of his officers set out to cut the net free.
Some divers who were diving on this wreck came across a net that was entangled on it. That poses a safety hazard for divers. They can become entangled. It can be a life-endangering event for them if they get entangled in a net at these depths. So we are here today to try to recover this net. get it off the wreck and remove it from the water.
When the divers arrived at the scene of the shipwreck, they jump into the water to head down to the wreckage and cut the net free. Bad weather may have caused the net below to be lost in the first place, and the risk of bad weather could put this operation in jeopardy.
If the winds pick up too much, we're going to be tied to this net, and we don't know how much we have or how much weight we're going to have. So safety is our biggest concern for all of us and our vessel, and if the weather turns or we get too high winds, it'll make lifting that net pretty difficult, and we'll create some safety hazards. So we'll go until either the weather stops us or we get the whole net at this time. And if we can't get the whole net, we'll take what we have and buoy the rest and get the rest of it when it's safer. So hopefully we'll get it all today.
Michigan's winters can sometimes feel like they last much longer than 1/4 of the calendar. So when things finally thaw out and the snow is gone, many people rush outside to take advantage of the more tolerable conditions and relish the opportunity to enjoy some of the public lands available to them for recreation. One activity that some outdoorsmen look forward to is riding dirt bikes and other off-road vehicles. In Michigan's District 7, Conservation officers Greg Patton and Chris Simpson are patrolling ORV riders on and around designated trails in the Manistee National Forest.
Right now we're on a Forest Service road. The Manistee National Forest in Muskegon County has 2 ORV trail loops. This is the south end of the Cedar Creek Motorsports Trail System, which is about 75 miles of marked ORV trail for both quads and dirt bikes.
On federal land as well as state land in this area, you may only ride on designated trails, and if there are trails are all marked and there's maps of the area where they can ride.
During their patrol, Officer Patton spots some fresh dirt bike tracks in a couple of areas that are closed to ORVs, including along some power lines, which are a public utility right-of-way. He shares what he's seen with CO Simpson. Officer Simpson comes into contact with the rider when he rides up behind the CO's patrol truck.
Can't ride here?
You're not supposed to be on the power line. Where were you headed?
Oh, well, I saw your headlights, so
where'd you come from?
I turned to follow you. Off the snowmobile trail?
Okay, yeah, you can't be there either. What
do you mean I'm not allowed to ride on the snowmobile trail?
It's a snowmobile trail, that's what you just said, right?
It says December to April.
Okay, but it's a snowmobile trail, it's not an RV trail.
I thought in Michigan they're both open to both.
I'll explain that to you, but snowmobile trails and RV trails are 2 separate things.
It is mid-June in the Manistee National Forest of Michigan's District 7, and conservation officers Greg Patton and Chris Simpson are patrolling off-road vehicles in and around the National Forest. CO Simpson has encountered a man on a dirt bike who was riding along some power lines, a place that's closed to ORV users. The dirt biker said he just recently bought the bike. He also told Officer Simpson that he'd been riding on a snowmobile trail, another place he shouldn't have been.
There is a legal place you can ride close by, and I can send you there, but you can't be here.
That would be fantastic. To be honest with you, I feel stupid. I came out. I came out the weekend that I bought it, and I saw all kinds of people, KTM's, Hondas.
Were they plated though?
One of them was. The other 2 weren't.
Okay. Yeah, you're not going to be the only guy that rides in here. But just so you know, in Michigan, all the public utility right-of-ways, gas lines, power lines, all that stuff is closed to ORV operation. So you can't be on any power lines or gas lines.
Is that closed to access, period? Because I have an Enduro, which is a plated bike with headlight and horn.
Usually we're pretty good about plated vehicles we don't mess with, okay? But if you're driving your truck down, it's not a big deal. But under the ORV law, it's closed to ORVs on any public utility right away, and that's consumers doesn't want you on their property.
Okay.
So
I haven't seen one sign.
What? Heck,
I guess
these are actually, if you go back that way, I know there's signs that say no trespassing, but nonetheless. But hang on one second. I'll be right with you, okay? He's got an ORV license, he's got a trail permit. It looks like he's trying to do everything right. He's just not in the right area to be legally riding. So we're going to end up probably just giving him a verbal warning and giving him some directions on where he needs to go to legally operate.
COs Patton and Simpson don't find any outstanding warrants or other concerns in this rider's background.
All right, here's the deal. We're going to cut you a couple breaks. There's a couple things you need to do, okay? Number one, stay off the power lines. If you come up here, obviously you got a truck or a trailer to come from Grand Rapids.
Yes.
Go up to, have you ever been up Cedar Creek Motorsports Trail?
Yep.
Go up there. I mean,
okay. I just stopped on my way back from the UP, not last week. I think it was a week before, coming back from my mom's, and I stopped at the North Cadillac Trail.
Okay.
And that's both snowmobiles and motorcycles.
Basically, if you don't see one of these with either a motorcycle or a quad on it,
yeah,
it's closed. The snowmobile trails are diamonds.
I believe Cadillac has both motorcycle and snowmobile.
Yeah, some of their trails probably are that way.
Okay.
But our snowmobile trail is a strictly snowmobile trail. Okay, so if you don't see that,
that's my mistake.
Here's your ID. Matter of fact, here's an RV. It's any of those that are the legal snow or RV trail signs.
Okay.
But take a look at that. You need to get this thing titled. We're cutting you a break on it, but you could be getting a ticket for failing to transfer the title. How long ago did you say you bought it?
2 weeks ago.
Okay, so you got 1 day. So next week, go down and get your title. It's a huge environmental damage. The big one is Jeeps and trucks hill climbing. Any place that has a grade, basically they tear the vegetation off the hill, and then it creates a huge erosion problem where you get a lot of erosion back into one of our premier trout creeks here in the county, Cedar Creek, which is what the trail system's named after. But Cedar Creek's just west of here, and a lot of those hill climbs are right next to the creek, which creates silting and sanding problems into that trout creek. So it's more than an RV problem, it's an environmental problem when you look at it with a wide lens.
Environmental damage caused by dirt bikes and all-terrain vehicles operating in prohibited areas is just one of the many concerns for Michigan conservation officers and other divisions of the DNR. Protecting the state's natural resources by anticipating and fighting forest fires is another very important job. The DNR's Forest Resources Division commits significant resources to safeguarding the state's trees and foliage.
There's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that goes on fighting wildfires or managing wildfires. A lot of folks don't realize that. You know, they see the fire trucks out on the ground putting the fire out, but to be successful doing that, there's got to be a lot of pre-planning, and that's what we do here at the Incident Coordination Center.
Unlike a lot of forest fires in the western United States that occur in the summer, Michigan's highest risk for wildfires is in the spring, after much of the vegetation has died and many of the forests are dry.
As you look around, not much foliage on the ground. The foliage is pretty brown. In a couple weeks, this will all be nice and lush and green once we get some solid rains, but right now this is all susceptible to fire. I'm looking at some of this old bracken fern that you can see there's no new bracken up. So this is all brown, dead, and really it'll burn rather easy.
Conservation officers play a role in assisting Michigan residents during wildfires.
The Law Enforcement Division of the DNR assists our Forest Resources Division by providing support as far as evacuations for fires. Our conservation officers get dispatched to the scene to get ahead of the fire, get evacuations done in the housing areas that might be affected by the fire, and get the people out to provide safety to them so that they're not caught in the middle of that.
Michigan Conservation Officer Greg Patton is patrolling off-road vehicles on a mid-June day in Michigan's District 7. While checking vehicles and riders in a parking lot next to an ORV trail, CO Patton and a U.S. Fish and Wildlife officer encountered two motorbike riders who, during a downpour, left the trail and went on a road that's not open to dirt bikes.
went all the way around the loop until we got here. I just said, you can't, because the water gets in the eye.
Do you have any eye protection?
Yeah.
What is it?
I had to take them out because I couldn't see anything. Off.
Right.
You know, maybe a better option next time would just be pull off if you can find somewhere,
right?
You know, that is sheltered. Obviously, if there's lightning and stuff, you might want to get back, but I didn't see anything like that. So I understand you made a call, and you know.
Yeah, I know better. I ride out here, like I said.
Well,
it just got to that point through my eyelashes, and I got
I know,
contacts,
I know.
so, you know.
I understand safety is the first thing, so.
Right.
And from the state side, we do write tickets for it, and it is a misdemeanor, is why I'm not going to do it. I've given you warnings, but if you'd had another violation on your bikes or something, it would have been a ticket.
And you're aware all these roads out here are closed along the trail as well, right?
Yeah, that's for like emergency vehicles or
well,
like
it's their forest roads, which you have to be street legal to ride, like a Secretary of State licensed street legal bike. If you had plates and everything, you could ride it. But
I had 2 motorcycle operators jump off the trail. We had a severe downpour. They couldn't see where they were going. So they jumped off the trail, drove a short distance on the side of the road and came into the ORV parking lot. Forest Service happened to be there at the same time, so we did a safety check on their bikes and then gave them a verbal warning for getting off the trail. Their reasoning was the downpour. They couldn't really see where they were going, and we couldn't see either, so we knew they were telling the truth on that. You know, some people really like it when they're out there if they can run through the mud and get all dirty, and others, it kind of drives them in. Same as fishermen. Some fishermen don't mind being out in downpours. They like it, and sometimes the fish turn on. And others don't really want to be out in the rain.
Fighting wildfires in Michigan requires cohesion between different facets of the DNR, as well as with other agencies around the state. The men and women on the front lines fighting these fires must be well trained and ready to go at a moment's notice.
This time of year, you know, days off don't exist. I mean, usually from like the 1st of March through all of March, April, May, even into June, I mean, my wife doesn't expect me until she sees the whites of my eyes, and that's just life. And her father was a fire officer, so she knew what she was getting into. So.
An important cog in making these teams work so well together is the pilot taking in the fire from above.
Oh, the pilot they're invaluable, really. To see the whole picture from 3,000 feet above down, it allows the incident commander to see what's ahead, homes, so we can get the fire departments there to do possible structure, triage, and protection if needed. So when they're not there, it raises concern on the back of my neck is that, you know, they're really a safety mechanism for us.
I only see a limited view. I only see what's in front of me. I can't see what's behind me normally. I can't see any distance out in front of me. I'm working with the here and the now. The pilot can see the whole package. He can see what's out in front of me. He can see if there's going to be a water problem, there's going to be the fire is picking up out in front of me that I don't see yet, or it's spotted over the top of our line that we have. He's the eyes in the sky. He sees the whole big picture.
You have to make a lot of decisions on the fly, right, wrong, or indifferent. You have a plane that's overhead a lot of the times in this country that you can ask questions to, and he can tell you what's out in front of you, but ultimately, you know, you're the guy that has to make that decision on what you're doing.
In addition to the huge task of trying to battle fires, the firefighters of the DNR are also very conscious of people that may just want to get a peek at what's going on. For everyone's well-being, it's best that they don't, though.
You have 55,000 pounds going 65 miles an hour. Everybody wants to see where you're going, what you're doing, and that's my biggest worry is you can't stop one of these on a dime, so you have to be very careful of the public.
Many people and a lot of resources are involved in fighting fires, but the goal of all involved is that everyone gets out safely at the end of the day.
Safety is always the big concern, our own to start with, but it's you know, life, property, trees. I mean, it's that simple.
Conservation officers from Michigan's Great Lakes Enforcement Unit have met with recreational divers above a shipwreck in Lake Michigan, off the coast of Michigan's District 2. There's a gill net stuck on a downed schooner called the Home, 100 feet below the surface. The operation is dependent on the wind staying down, but the plan is for the divers to cut the net free and hook a rope to it that the COs will then use to pull the net into their boat.
This boat here is a Pacific boat. It's a 30-foot vessel. It was made specifically for us. It's equipped with a gill net lifter. Pretty much everything we need to do our job on the Great Lakes, this boat has. It's a tremendous asset.
Once the officers get the signal from the divers that the net is free from the ship, they begin to pull the rope onto their boat and eventually see the net too.
Oh, yeah? Yep, keep going.
As the net is removed from the water, it is sorted into plastic bins, which are then taken to the back of the officer's boat. Although it's too late for most of the fish stuck in the net, at least one gets to return to the water alive as a result of this operation.
You save its life? Save the burbot's life.
He gets to swim for another day.
That's it. Good job. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Well, hey, that's a success.
Yeah, it was.
Well, that's great.
After less than an hour of pulling around 2,000 feet of net from Lake Michigan, the officers reached the end of it.
Today's operation went extremely smooth. It could have been a lot worse. We had good weather. Everything ran well. And it went as smooth as it could go in this type of situation. It's very important we remove nets like this. They continue to do damage when they're lost like this in the Great Lakes. These types of nets, as long as they're able to continue fishing, they'll continue to entrap fish. Other wildlife can be entangled in them as well, diving birds, for example. So in addition to the public safety aspect, being on a wreck and a hazard to divers, it's also a resource issue to prevent things like this from continuing to kill fish and other wildlife species.